Hi, my name is Shannon, and this is my YouTube channel. I just wanted to continue from my last video to just bring up one more point that I was going to make, and that was about the projects that I've been promising. And I've kind of decided that I'm going to forgive myself and start over with that, essentially. And I still intend to make those project videos. I just need to slow down and get the tools I need to make those videos to the level that I want them to be in my head, if that makes sense. When I first started making them, like I've said a couple times, I only imagined that there would be a handful of people here, but now I feel like I need to step it up a little bit. So there's a couple things I want to get before I start trying to do that again. Not to mention, I did have a subscription to like a video editing program, and I had to put that on hold for a little bit until I could justify paying for it. So I've been putting it off because of that too, because I need that program. I mean, I'm sure there's free ones out there. I should probably do a little bit of research. But that was the last point I wanted to make before I ended that video. And unfortunately, when I tried to make a follow-up video at lunchtime, I just kept starting over about 100 times till I ran out of time on lunch. So here I am on my last break of the day talking to you. I've also kind of decided when it comes to those videos that I'm not going to announce them ahead of time, at least not at first, until I start becoming consistent. Anyway, right now all I have to do are minor things. Like, for example, today I need to run to the pharmacy to pick up some prescriptions for my mom, and yet again I need to go to the grocery store because of all of the food that got ruined in my fridge yesterday, which that I talked about in a video that I've put private, so I'll kind of reiterate it a little bit. I had to stay home from work yesterday because when I came home from work on Monday, half of my house didn't have any electricity. The living room, the kitchen, half of my basement, the laundry room, a bathroom downstairs. Yeah, that's about it. And apparently all of those things are all on one circuit. The only thing I got lucky with was the stove and the microwave are on a separate circuit, but literally everything else within those rooms was all together. And I kept trying to flip the circuit breaker, and it would just flip right back off, like something was tripping it. So I did a search all around the house trying to figure out if maybe my mom had done something, and I'm potentially going to have a fire on my hands if I didn't find it. But I looked at everything, nothing. So I ended up going around the house. I unplugged everything I could find, went back downstairs, tried to flip the switch again, still clicked right back off after like a couple seconds. So I gave up, and I ended up having to I had to call my landlord and get the maintenance people in my house, and it was a real fight to get them to come sooner. So somebody mentioned that I should probably tell them I have a mother in my home that has Alzheimer's, and when I called back again, that kind of kicked them into gear, and they ended up coming this morning. I was at work, my boyfriend had to handle it, but turns out there's nothing really they can do. They came, they flipped the circuit breaker, and everything came back on, and it was fine. So, and nobody seems to know what happened, so it could happen again. So that's just wonderful. But now I have to go to the store because I did have a small fridge in my basement, which just happened to be plugged into an outlet that was not affected by this. So I was able to shove like a bunch of things into that small fridge, but there was only so much room, and my hands were kind of tied in terms of other options because of finances. I mean, I just got paid, so yesterday I was down to my last few dollars. I couldn't go out and spend and get an extension cord for my fridge, for example. So luckily it wasn't too full of, it was a bunch of things that had been in there for a couple, like condiments and things in the freezer that have been sitting in there probably too long anyway. So now I get to go to the store after work and replace at least some of the things I need to make dinner over the next couple of days. And I'm really dreading it. I really just want to go home. I hate going to places after work. And I hate just being out of my house in general. I'm like, once I'm home, I'm home. And so I have to get it done now, because it's not something I can put off till the weekend, at least not lately. For some reason, I'm having a really hard time tearing myself away from my house on the weekends lately. So I gotta push myself and get it done after work. And I'm not going to make like a project video about that. It's just, it doesn't get my creative juices flowing, I guess. But at least if I'm saying it out loud to you and I'm telling you that I'm doing this, there's going to be some kind of voice at the back of my head that, there's going to be consequences if I don't get it done, even though I can't really prove to you I didn't do it. I don't know. It'll work out somehow. Like I said, I'm taking this a little steps at a time. And this is what I'm doing for right now. And I do have a lot of larger goals coming up, and then those will I'll have to come up with some kind of creative project to surround them. Like, for example, a big, huge one that might be coming up in the next year is I might finally get married. My boyfriend, he and I have been together for about 15 years now. It'll be 15 years in April. And because it took so long for me to get divorced from my first marriage, it was a long process. I procrastinated on getting the divorce filed for years, that we just ended up never getting married, and we've become so used to that now that we just haven't bothered pulling the trigger and going to the courthouse and getting it done. So I want to get that done this year. I mean, 15 years, that's kind of a big deal, Let's make it official so I can finally have his last name, get it over with, get rid of my ex-husband's last name, which I would love to do. And so, that would be an idea of a video that I want to do. And, some other things, like a lot of things are going to be coming up in the spring for me in terms of project videos. And I want to get my garage completely cleared out and get my stained glass area set up in there. I'm going to have to clear out the yard and get my mom's garden up and going again. We want to make it even bigger than we did last year. I mean, she really enjoyed gardening, and it kept her occupied all day. So that's definitely on the list of things to do. And my boyfriend has a lot of big ideas of what he wants to accomplish out in the yard for my mom. So I really appreciate the hard work he puts in to keep her happy. He's so kind to her, and I appreciate that every day. But that's just the gist of this video, is just to kind of give you an idea of where I'm coming from with these project videos. I know I keep saying they're more for me, and I mean, there are a handful of people that enjoy them, but right now I just feel, like I said, I just need some time to hone my skills when it comes to doing videos like that. I mean, this is a lot simpler. I'm just sitting here talking to you, and it doesn't require a whole lot of skill in terms of editing a video, and I'm still learning how to do that. I'm still learning how to look at the camera lens. So, but regardless, I do have a few things I'm going to talk about over the coming days in this kind of format, and then eventually, I'm going to get a microphone, and I'm going to start bringing you along with me when I do accomplish, things that are boring. Like, I still have to go to the post office. I'm kind of in a quandary with that. They're being kind of sticklers about having the old address identification. So I may have to go with an option where somebody kind of gave me the idea of going to my mom's physician and getting a letter that says she's not capable of coming into the post office. But I'm still working that out. That might not have to be that bad, but I need to jump on that and just get it done, hopefully by the end of the week. I have been in touch with her primary physician. I forgot to bring that up, but I still need to get he still needs to get back to me on what about appointments and things like that. I just got all of the prescriptions, making sure all of that's still good and the refills are all still, gonna refill. But at least, I am accomplishing things. It's just taking me a little bit longer than I was anticipating and hoping when I first started this. But at least something's happening. But until then, I will have to gather up some information on caregiving for my mother. Maybe things aren't as dismal as I think they are. So I'll let you know when I come to a final decision on that eventually. But until then, again, if you are one of my subscribers, I appreciate you more than anything. You really, truly do lift me up more than I ever thought would be possible. And if you're somebody new and you've made it this far through this video and you probably don't even know what I'm talking about, then I appreciate you too. And I hope that you subscribe. And that's one last thing I want to say is I'm not going to be one of those YouTubers that are going to be like, hey, make sure you subscribe, like my videos. That's just not me. So the people that do subscribe and like, because I don't do that, it means that much more to me that you do that. And I think I will continue. I'm just going to be a normal person who's talking to the camera and I'm showing you how I'm struggling through life. That's what you're going to get. Sometimes it'll be focused on me and sometimes it'll be focused on my mother. But regardless, that's pretty much. I left the buzzer in. I'll edit it out if it's really super loud. And there is one last thing I want to bring up before I get back to work over here. I got stuck having to do packing. I'm sorry that I'm being so bad with the camera right now. I'm trying to find the little thing in the back that lets it sit, but screw it. I am going to talk to my mom tonight. I don't know how much. She used to love YouTube. But she hasn't really been consuming it much lately. So I'm not sure if she actually remembers what it is. But I want to talk to her tonight and tell her what I'm doing and see how she feels about it. And maybe we can do a little video this weekend together where I can show you some of her artwork. I went in there last night to talk to her, and the pile of artwork that she has in there is humongous. So maybe somebody can come up with some ideas of, she keeps talking about wanting to start a garage sale or something. Maybe I could do that, have a garage sale this spring and then hang up her artwork and sell it for $1 or something. It would make her happy. I'm going to talk to her first about it and see how she feels about doing this YouTube thing with me, or at least indirectly, being in the room with me. But until then, I got to get back to work. So I love you guys. Thank you. Everything. Bye.